woman robbed of motorcycle by cutlass wielding bandits. And $5 million HAIAKWA and HAIMAI pilot boats commissioned. Now for the news in detail. As the Guyana government continues to build out a modern infrastructure network across the country, President Dr. Irfan Ali has disclosed that construction works for a new high-span fixed bridge across the Berbice River is expected to start before the end of this year. Vanu Manikchan has the details in this report.
Today, we are building that economy that is powered by modern infrastructure. This year, not only will we complete the Damara River Bridge and the new highways, but we will also start the new Berbice River Bridge.
That was President Dr. Irfan Ali announcing plans to commence works on the new Berbice River Bridge. This new bridge will be a modern fixed-span structure, eliminating the need for retractions and ensuring continuous traffic flow for both marine and vehicular transportation. Earlier this year, 7 firms were pre-qualified from an initial pool of 9 companies that were required to submit price quotations for the new Berbice River Bridge, which will replace the current 1.57-kilometer floating steel bridge across the Berbice River. However, only 5 of the shortlisted firms responded and submitted their bids. These include a joint venture of China Railway Construction Caribbean Company Limited and China Railway Construction Bridge Engineering Bureau Group Co. Limited, which submitted a bid of US $255.87 million. A joint venture of AJM Enterprise and Shandong High Speed Road and Bridge Company Limited with a bid of US $279.68 million and another JV of China Railway First Group Company Limited and China Railway Erwan Engineering Group Co. Limited, which proposed US $266.43 million. China Road and Bridge Corporation and Vishwa Samuja Private Limited out of India are the 2 lone bidders vying for the project, with financial proposals to the tune of US $205.88 million and US $465.51 million respectively. These bids have been under evaluation over the last few months. Public Works Minister Juan Edgell told this newscast on Friday that the negotiations are still ongoing. As part of the new bridge project, the Guyana government has already acquired approximately 50 properties on the eastern side of the Berbice River to facilitate construction of the new bridge and earmarked some $5 billion in the 2025 national budget for the construction of the new structure. The current floating Berbice River Bridge, a critical link between regions 5 and 6, was constructed between 2006 and 2008 through a public-private partnership at a cost of approximately $8.2 billion. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
We are now joined by Trishelle Sobers, who reports that Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo has announced that Guyanese can expect an early national budget in 2026 with the establishment of a long-promised development bank high on the government's agenda.
During his weekly press conference on Thursday, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo assured citizens that the government has already begun working on many of its campaign commitments, noting that efforts to deliver on promises started immediately after the 2025 general and regional elections. He stressed that work is quietly ongoing to ensure that the agenda for the next 5 years is fully implemented, noting that preparations are underway for an early 2026 budget that will provide funding for several projects.
We're not the other parties that are just walking around the place looking for a photo op or anything or to get relevance in the newspaper. As I said before, the elections are done. A lot of people keep asking me when are the small contracts coming out, when are you going to start? You spoke a lot about the drainage, like concrete drains and concrete roads and those things. Well, the new budget, we're working on an early budget, so we'd have funds in the next year to start all of those projects in the city, across the country. We're going to resume a lot of that work, road building and the concrete drains and the electricity, light.
The Vice President further explained that the long-promised development bank will target small and medium-scale enterprises, SMEs, particularly those unable to access funding through the traditional banking system. He stressed that too many Guyanese, including young people and women across the 10 administrative regions, have viable business ideas or startup ventures, but remain unable to grow due to lack of affordable credit and collateral requirements. While reforms to the formal banking system are underway to allow easier access to capital through a range of instruments, including project financing, invoice discounting, and commercial lending, the Vice President said the new development bank will cater to those who remain excluded.
We will work with the banking system to develop a range of instruments from discounting trade invoices to project financing to commercial bank financing that would allow Guyanese to better use the banking system to support their business needs. And we will also, as promised, create this development bank for the group of people who may not have access to the commercial banks, so that they too can realize the benefits and opportunities of our country.
Work on the initiative has already advanced with a concept paper under review. Jagdeo disclosed that a second draft will be discussed next week, with clear directions already issued to ensure the plan reflects the government's intentions. Financing for the bank will be included in the early 2026 budget, with the aim of making the institution fully operational before the end of next year.
A lot of work has already been done in developing the concept. As I said before, next week we're meeting to have a discussion on the second draft of the concept. We already have we've given the people who are working on this, these concept papers, clear indications of what our intentions are, and we want to make sure that those are reflected in the final concept document before we proceed to implement. And so that is very important to us.
Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Here now is Bisham Mohammed, who reports that Vice President Dr. Bar Jagdeo has assured that the new foreign exchange monitoring mechanism announced earlier in the week by President Dr. Irfan Ali will not burden ordinary Guyanese or small businesses, but will instead target loopholes that allow non-Guyanese entities to exploit the system and evade taxes.
Speaking at a press conference on a Thursday, Vice President Dr. Bar Jagdeo explained that measures are aimed primarily at large-scale foreign currency users whose transactions are not always reflected in Guyana's formal financial system.
We're not going to restrict Guyanese from purchasing foreign currency. In fact, we will make sure that we provide adequate amounts from the central bank to meet domestic demand. But we're going to try to close the loopholes on some of those who have been abusing the system. For example, the Chinese supermarket that you're seeing with. Most of these supermarkets don't have a bank account. They don't have a bank account. The owners don't have a bank account. And they're importing a lot of goods to sell in their supermarkets. How are they getting the foreign currency? So Closing these loopholes would allow us to collect more taxes from these foreign entities, mainly, who are operating here, or if they are using our foreign currency on credit card to meet demand in another country.
Highlighting the government's fiscal capacity, the Vice President explained that Guyana is well positioned to manage foreign exchange demand as revenues from the Natural Resources Fund increase. He further noted that although $1.2 billion has already been injected into the foreign currency market this year, the government has the ability to inject much more, thanks to projected multi-million-dollar inflows in the coming years. Much of the rising demand for foreign currency, Jagdeo explained, is tied to ongoing large-scale infrastructure projects such as the new Demerara River Bridge and the gas-to-energy project. Many of these investments, he added, are financed through the local banking system, requiring the government to supply the necessary foreign exchange. However, he pointed out that this demand is temporary, as several projects will be completed in the coming years. Looking ahead, Jagdeo projected a similar reduction in foreign currency demand once Guyana begins producing its own cooking gas and electricity under the gas-to-energy project.
When we start supplying cooking gas to our population, that would also reduce the demand for foreign currency to import cooking gas. Combined, we can reduce about $450 million to $500 million a year, nearly $500 million in reduction in demand. Not only reduction in demand for capital items, but reduction in demand because we don't have to import those in the future. So if you look to the future, we have a growing revenue stream in foreign currency, and we'd have a reduction in demand for some of these projects that are ongoing now and for import of fuel, basically, energy. So I think we're in a great position today to address any growth in demand for foreign currency in the future. We've made this very clear. So there is no crisis in the foreign currency market.
On Monday, during a meeting with the heads of local banks, President Dr. Irfan Ali disclosed that the government, through the Bank of Guyana, has injected a staggering $1.2 billion into the local financial system so far this year, more than triple the amount provided in the entire year of 2024 in an effort to meet rising demand for foreign currency. According to him, credit card clearances rose from $91.3 million in 2023 to $347.5 million in 2024. For 2025, so far, transactions have already reached $252 million, even before the year-end holiday season. To deal with these demands, the administration has announced a series of interventions that will reshape how foreign exchange requests are processed. Going forward, importers seeking foreign currency will be required to provide commercial invoices before their banks can release funds. Once goods arrive in Guyana, those invoices, along with a bill of lading, will have to be submitted to the Guyana Revenue Authority and to the commercial banks, ensuring that the shipment matched the Forex requested. If importers fail to comply with the documentation process, they will not be able to access foreign currency for future requests. To streamline verification, commercial banks will now be required to forward invoices and bill of lading to the Bank of Guyana, effectively creating a centralized clearinghouse that will monitor and reconcile all transactions. The President also signals stricter rules for the credit yard use by ensuring that they are not being misused for large business transactions or for importing goods, which he noted was becoming a loophole in the system. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Let's now tell you that following a recent meeting by the government of Guyana on lawful operations of Chinese-owned businesses, the Chinese embassy is reminding all Chinese businesses operating in Guyana to strictly comply with local laws and regulations. The Chinese embassy in a release stated that business owners must ensure they hold valid business license, residence permits and ID cards in accordance with Guyana's law, and they should open local bank accounts and operate only within the legal business scope. Daily operations, the embassy noted, must follow legal standards, maintain product quality, avoid selling expired or counterfeit goods, and strictly avoid illegal activities such as money laundering, smuggling, or fraud. Businesses must also comply with tax regulations by issuing proper invoices, paying taxes on time, and contributing legally to employee social insurance. Chinese businesses are also encouraged to hire Guyanese staff lawfully and contribute to local economic development, while at the same time cooperation with law enforcement during inspections is essential. The Chinese embassy also urged businesses to strengthen safety measures by installing security equipment, reducing on-site cash, and hiring security personnel if needed. In cases of emergencies, the Guyana Police Force must be contacted as well as the Chinese embassy. Finally, all Chinese businesses in Guyana are urged to operate lawfully, responsibly, and in a manner that supports mutual respect and cooperation between China and Guyana. Coming up, Linden pensioner allegedly strangled to death by mentally ill sister. $5 million HAIAKWA HAIMAI pilot boats commissioned.
Granny! What you doing on the right of way? Like you're saying let the sunshine stretch your legs. Sunshine? Look, forget I ask. You know you're not supposed to be on the right of way, Granny. But I am digging, building, burning or planting. No horsing wrong, no horse riding or nothing for doing horses. But sunshine? But you and sunshine get out the right of way. Sunshine, let me glad. Good.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
In today's tough driving conditions, every engine faces three powerful enemies: engine heat, pollutants, and frequent short trips. Each factor is a direct cause of engine sludge, a buildup of dirt that can block vital oilways. This triple threat demands triple protection. Castrol GTX's Triple Protect Power is engineered to fight these three main causes of engine sludge.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. President Dr. Irfan Ali has reaffirmed his government's commitment to leveraging the country's oil windfall to drive development across all sectors of the economy, But he underscored the importance of this being done in a sustainable way, something which the private sector needs to get on board with. Here is Vanu Manikchan with the details.
Addressing industry stakeholders at a breakfast event hosted by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry on Thursday, President Dr. Irfan Ali stated that while the oil boom opens doors, Guyana cannot just be content with walking through those doors, but have to build new ones. This, he noted, not only requires embracing bold and innovative ideas, but doing so while focusing on sustainability.
Oil is temporary, but sustainability is forever. You must use oil to build for the future, not deny the future to spend oil. Our mission over the next 5 years and beyond is to prove that oil wealth and sustainability can walk hand in hand. Because what good will be a prosperous Guyana in 2030 if it is unlivable in 2050? By 2030, we must have an economy that is diversified, a workforce that is skilled, an energy mix that is cleaner, and a society that is resilient. Guyana must be and will be an example not of the resource curse, but of the resource blessing. We must show the world that it is possible to produce oil whilst protecting our forests.
According to the head of state, the private sector has a major role to play in the country's sustainable development.
Too often we speak of businesses as if their role is simply to seize opportunities and to generate jobs and maximize profits. Yes, that is important. But in this new Guyana, businesses must see themselves as more than these. Business must see themselves as important social responsibility, as important entities in the story of transformation. They must see themselves as mini engines of sustainable development. Every contract signed, every dollar invested, every job created must move us closer to our national vision. The private sector must be a partner in climate action, in community upliftment, in innovation, in nation building. Business is not just about counting profits. It is about multiplying possibilities.
Meanwhile, similar sentiments were expressed by GCCI President Kathy Smith, who also outlined the crucial nature of sustainability in planning for the success and continuity of businesses.
What are you doing to ensure that your business not only survives but grows and strives for the next 20 years? Sustainability, ladies and gentlemen, has been a word I'm getting very familiar with and getting very comfortable with. It's more than just a buzzword. It speaks to our very survival and future. Improved infrastructure, a booming construction sector, and a rapidly growing business sector. As a proud Guyanese and the president of this esteemed organization, it gives me great pride to witness President Ali's intentional strategy approach to investment and in our country. Not only in the oil and gas sector, but equally in positioning Guyana's non-oil sector for sustainable growth and development.
The GCCI's event was hosted under the theme, Power Guyana's Future, Guyana's Path to Sustainable Development. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchan.
Fulfilling a commitment made by President Dr. Irfan Ali in 2023, 2 new marine pilot boats, HAIAKWA and HAIMAI, were officially commissioned on Friday at a cost of some $5 million, boosting Guyana's maritime capacity. More in this report. 2 new pilot vessels were officially commissioned on Friday at the Transport and Harbors Wharf on Water Street, Georgetown. The 2 vessels are pegged at some $5 million, thus marking a major boost to Guyana's maritime transport capacity. Guyana's shipping and porting operations are now set for greater efficiency, safety, and reliability. The two state-of-the-art pilot boats were constructed by renowned French shipbuilder OCEA. The pilot boats also include specialized boarding systems that allow pilots to embark and disembark safely, even in rough waters. Their designs are outfitted with advanced navigation and communication systems. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, the Director General of Guyana's Maritime Administration Department, Captain Stephen Thomas, highlighted the specifications of the vessels, underscoring that they represent an important investment in Guyana's maritime future.
These vessels are sisters to the HAIMAI. However, modifications were done based upon our experience and performance of this said vessel. Needless to say, they are more suited to the local conditions with improved operational capabilities and ergonomic design. These vessels have maximum speed of approximately 26 knots, but generally cruise at approximately 20 knots. At this speed, they can take a pilot out to sea and to the now extended channel and return to port in under 1 hour. This is in stark contrast to the situation prior to introduction to HAIMAI, when it took almost 4 hours for such a trip. To the pilots and crew operating and maintaining these vessels, care them, operate them safely.
Meanwhile, Minister of Public Utilities and Aviation, Deodat Indar, noted that with a 54% growth in the maritime sector, the demand for river pilots will also rise significantly.
Our river pilots, they're trained personnel, but we need more river pilots. We need more. If the pie is going to grow, you need more river pilots to deal with the increasing number of ships that have to be piloted into the Demerara Harbor. Maintenance of these vessels is critical. Maintenance is critical. We have bought new vessels and they should operate with the standard procedures that allow it long life. If we do not care them, no matter how good of a manager you are, no matter how good of a captain you are, if the engineers and those who are charged with cleaning and taking care of the engines and all of the rest accompanying parts of these vessels, they don't do their work, it will not be a good story for us. It will damage and we will look like we just do not care about these national assets. Personnel will have to put one focus to making sure that we traverse the waterway in a safe manner, one that does not cause damage to other folks that are parked or moving in the waterway.
Michelle Henry, The Evening News. An Amelia's Ward Linden pensioner was on Thursday evening strangled to death by her sister, with whom she was spending time at Plantation Ross, West Coast, Berbice. The dead woman has been identified as 72-year-old Barbara Crawford. Police stated that on the day in question, at about 19 hours 45, the 72-year-old woman was heard screaming, resulting in her brother, who lives in the lower flat of the home, rushing to the upper flat to investigate. However, the doors were locked, and as such, he summoned another brother for assistance. They managed to break the back door, and upon entering the house, they were attacked by the suspect, another sister who was armed with a knife. She was, however, subdued, but they later found that Crawford's motionless body was in a chair in the hall area. The 55-year-old suspect was subsequently taken into custody but remained silent. The suspect is reportedly a patient at a mental health clinic in Kanji, Berbice. The suspect's daughter reportedly told police that she was contacted by her mother, who told her, and I quote, "I just strangled Barbara and killed her," end quote. The victim was reported to have been staying at the suspect's home since September 12, 2025, after attending their brother's funeral. The Hydrometeorological Service of Guyana is celebrating 60 years of service to the nation, a celebration described as one with a purpose, perseverance, and people working together for the common good. Luan McAllister has the details.
For 6 decades, the Hydrometeorological Service has provided critical data from weather forecasts and water monitoring to disaster preparedness and aviation safety. Today, Chief Hydrometeorological Officer Dr. Gavin Cummins called the anniversary a testament of purpose, perseverance, and people working together for the common good.
Today, we gather not only to commemorate a milestone in our organizational history, but to celebrate 6 decades of unwavering dedication to science, service, and resilience to the Guyanese people, to our regional community, and in fact, our global community.
Dr. Cummins highlighted the evolution of the service from its early days of basic operations to becoming a modern global player. He praised the staff, past and present, many of whom have dedicated decades of their lives to the department.
60 years of service is not just a passage of time. It is a testament of purpose, perseverance, and the power of people working together for the common good. Over the past 60 years, we have evolved from basic observational capabilities into a relatively modern agency equipped with cutting-edge tools, regional and global collaboration, and a complement of skilled professionals of whom I'm extremely proud.
Among those honored today were Bridget Roberts with 55 years of service, Julian Francois with 53 years, and Zalnul Rahman, who will mark 50 years in 2026. Meanwhile, Minister within the Ministry of Agriculture, Vikash Ramkissoon, joined in recognizing their dedication. He pointed to major government investments in the Hydrometeorological Service, more than $600 million since 2020, funding new weather stations across all regions, climate forecasting systems, and even upcoming meteorological buoys for Guyana's maritime zone.
These investments are not just numbers. They represent lives protected, crops saved, flights made safer, and communities better prepared.
As climate change brings more frequent and severe weather events, both officials stressed that Hydromet's role has never been more vital. Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
On Thursday evening, 45-year-old Marissa Gilbert Mohabir of Section D SOPHIA was robbed of her black and red Howjay motorcycle, registration CN5875, a handbag containing a Samsung telephone, $25,000 in cash, and several personal documents. The armed robbery occurred along West Palm Street, Lamha Springs, Georgetown, and was carried out by 2 men, one of whom was armed with a cutlass. According to preliminary reports, the victim was riding her motorcycle when the suspects passed her on another motorcycle. They stopped a short distance ahead, turned off their headlamp, and awaited. The pillion rider then got off, approached Mohabir, drew a cutlass from his waistband, and placed it at her neck. He took her handbag, pushed her off of her motorcycle, and rode away with it, followed by his accomplice. This incident was reported to the police, and an investigation is currently underway. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Damara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed to vehicular traffic on Saturday, October 4, 2025 at 2 hours 25 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Saturday, October 4, 2025 at 14 hours 25, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
FIFA funds mini pitches to boost grassroots football in Guyana. KFC to invest in bleachers for Ministry of Education ground. These stories and more coming up in this evening's Sportscast, sponsored by Markup.
It's Cricket Carnival time and Markup is knocking prices out of the park.
Get the powerful CAT 320GX for just $30 million, the SEM 655D Reloader at $17.4 million, or the SEM 636D Reloaded for only $13.8 million. Each machine comes with free fuel warranty registration, 2 years warranty, and a customer value agreement for the first 500 hours. Don't wait. Register your interest now at markarcat.com or call us today on 703-8618. Markar, let's build Guyana together.
Granny! What are you doing on the right of way? Like you're saying let the sunshine stretch your legs. Sunshine? Look, forget I ask. You know you're not supposed to be on the right of way, Granny. But I am digging, building, burning or planting. No horsing wrong, no horse riding or nothing for doing horses. But sunshine? What? You and sunshine get out the right of way. Sunshine will be glad. Good.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's finger